We are here at Bitcoin Wednesday in Amsterdam on the 6th of September, and we will have an interview with two very interesting companies who will do a presentation this evening at our event in Amsterdam. And that's Henri Pihkala of Streamr, which we had an interview before, right? 2 months ago.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Exactly, when you had a great demonstration at a Bitcoin Wednesday with trams in Helsinki, which you can IoT and monetize the driving kilometers. Yeah. A very interesting demonstration. And we're also with Golem, with Grzegorz Borowik, senior software developer within the R&D organization of Golem. So we're here to discuss, let's say, both companies, the value proposition, but also the added value of the combination of Streamr together with Golem. So let's first start with Streamr, Henri. What happened until after our last interview, right? And can you also explain a little bit again for the viewers who did not see the last video about Streamr?
Sure. Maybe I'll just start by explaining Streamr briefly. So we aim to tokenize the value in real-time streaming data. So we're building a decentralized peer-to-peer network for data delivery, which allows, for example, machines to exchange data, trade on data, and get payments for the value in the data. Oh. And one of the applications we're building on top of that infrastructure is an analytics engine, which allows users to apply computation onto that data. And that is kind of how we actually ended up contacting Golem, because we needed some way to decentralize that computation. So Golem was a perfect fit for that. But let's talk about the collaboration a bit later. But to answer your question, what has happened since we last spoke? Well, we've built new demos, we've announced a token launch, we've announced the official collaboration with Golem and made some other new friends in the space. It's been quite busy for us, but super fun. Exactly.
I can imagine. It's a very busy period for you as well, also for Golem, which is also high in the news in the past few months. But let's say going back to Streamr for the viewers, what I understood from our previous interview, right? It's a platform where real-time data will be fed into, and where you can build applications on top of your platform. But those applications needs computing power to manipulate, to analyze the data. And that computing power now will be provided by the Golem platform, basically, right? Is that a good summary of your...
Of course, the applications can run anywhere. I mean, you can run an application on your laptop and it can subscribe to data, but usually you have workloads which you want to distribute or not host yourself. You rather use a decentralized platform for that. And that's exactly where Golem comes in.
Okay, so that's a good starting point, right? I mean, we heard a lot about Golem now, and we all know Golem. I think there was an so you started with officially 1 year ago in the media press.
We started in November last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, and maybe I should provide some metaphor about Golem, because, as you said, everybody knows Golem, but some people would like to get to Golem, maybe to be closer with this. So I think we should think about Golem as about our cars. So our cars are usually stacked at the parking lots for more than 90% of their lifetime. And what we would like to do is to bring this computational power to the life. So everybody can partition their task and distribute it among the other computers to calculate it smoothly and to use this actually not used computational power, because our computers are in the bags where we are talking here. We don't use our computers, so we have to. We try to use them.
Yeah. So Golem makes use of the unused CPU power of many computers worldwide, right?
Yes. And our collaboration came automatically because we find out that we somehow developed complementary groups. So Stream focuses on delivering the data, and we focuses on computational power.
Exactly,
yes.
exactly. But maybe before we go into the joint cooperation and how that adds value when you combine Golem with Streamr, maybe before we go, look at Golem. So you have several other distributed computing power providers, right? Like iExec or TrueBit. What is the differentiation of Golem against those other platforms?
Yes, so Golem try to develop completely peer-to-peer system where there won't be third party engaged. So we distribute the data to be calculated and would like to have the result without knowing where it will be distributed. So we, I think from the user point of view, it doesn't matter how it will be done, because user would like to have, would like to obtain the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
fast and reliable.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So how does Golem do that in your platform?
So on our platform, for example, I can explain it using our first use case where we focuses on rendering software. For example, image is partitioned and each chunk is sent to different nodes. After that, the nodes render it, and whole the picture is gathered together on the requester computer.
Exactly.
So it can be done efficiently and using computational power of the others, and usually it shortens the time.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. What the user wants, right?
Yes.
Not wait too long for, let's say, the result getting back. So, besides Streamr, does Golem also have other partnerships with platform providers?
Yes, we try to scale up, and we're looking for collaboration. So, as I said, our groups, Golem and Streamr, automatically complete each other. But, for example, I may mention here about FriendUp group from Netherlands. They can constitute somehow of the layer that unify the software. So as I said before, for the from the user point of view, it doesn't really matter when he uses, for example, NTFS file system or X3 file system. It doesn't really matter. We only know about it because we had to know. And in future, we try to cut off such things because from the user point of view, what we would like to have is to send the data and obtain the data calculated.
Exactly.
Not the technology. Technology is not important for the user.
It's agnostic, right? It's
yes,
transparent for the user.
Technology agnostic.
Exactly. Yeah. So going back to the cooperation, right, like Henri, and I can remember in the last interview, you also hinted towards a potential collaboration with Golem, right? Yes. So it was already in the boiling pan, right?
But
and now
it wasn't announced.
No, I understand completely. So it was boiling already, right? The cooperation, but now it's officially announced. Yes. So what is the reason why the combination is ideal working together with Golem for streaming?
Well, initially we approached them because we realized that in our kind of stack, we knew how to build the network itself, the peer-to-peer network. We knew how to build the marketplace, which is one of the applications we are building, but we didn't know how to decentralize the engine, the computation engine. And we knew that that's a solution that we're not gonna want to build from scratch ourselves, because it's exactly something that, for example, Golem is looking to do. Now, of course, they are They're at the moment doing this 3D rendering case, which is kind of batch-based, but we knew that in their roadmap further ahead, they want to support microservices or kind of continuously running applications inside the container. And we contacted them, and we met in Warsaw, and we explained what Streamr is and what we want to do, and they were like, what is this? We have to.
This is what we were waiting for.
It's a good use case for Golem. I think Golem needs use cases.
Exactly.
It needs applications in the ecosystem.
It's an accelerator for using the Golem network.
Of course. It also guides the development of both projects. You need to make decisions which support the ability to eventually have Streamr running in there, and we need to make decisions that eventually support running the Streamr engine in there. Okay. And in this process, we actually realized that the application running in Golem and listening for data from the Streamr network, it doesn't have to be the Streamr analytics engine. It can actually be any application. Right? So from this idea, we come to the kind of generalization where Golem would act as a kind of abstraction of the computing power in there, and Streamr would act as a layer abstracting the networking in there. And then there would be the application. So together we make the development of decentralized applications that run somewhere much easier. Via the Streamr network, they are able to ingest data. They become addressable because they have like a stream or topic that they're listening to. We don't need to know which machine, which IP address they are running on, and so on.
So in the combination, right? If I am a user, I need to do complex analytics on top of the Streamr network. How will I be charged, or how can I pay for this?
Yeah, good question. I think that question can actually be translated to how do the tokens work together. So basically to use the Golem platform, you need the GNT token, and to use our platform, you need the data token. So you'd basically need a bit of both. And of course, this kind of collaboration between projects eventually leads to the situation where you have to manage a lot of different tokens. Like I usually use this example, like you go to a restaurant, and then to get a seat there, you need the table coin and chair coin, and to get food, you need the menu coin and the waiter coin, and to eat, you need the fork coin and knife coin.
It's not convenient for the user, right? I mean, it should be transparent.
No, it's terrible. But
so
this
you
is
thought
so
about it. You thought about it,
yes,
right?
yes.
So what is your solution?
What is the
for
solution?
that?
Okay, good. So it's quite obvious that the user cannot manage the balances of different tokens. So I'm kind of calling out for the wallet makers to think about this situation. So we're in the early days. Every project is concentrating on themselves and their own token and so on. But I think in the future, collaboration between projects and products will become very commonplace. And in that scenario, we need wallets that take care of this automatically. So we can, of course, we can create a smart contract that kind of requires both tokens to execute something, but still you need to manage the balance. So I want to have it happen automatically. So I, for example, give a permission to some application somehow to use, I give allowance, for example, in my wallet, and then I use the application and I can see the money.
But your objective, or your both objectives, is to make life easy for me as a user, right? So the threshold is easy for me to use both platforms. You do not want to be dependent on the wallet providers to provide that solution to make my life easy. So
yes, so we can imagine that in future we may assume some fusions of or the union of some tokens, because as Henri mentioned here, nowadays we have a lot of them, and we may assume that in 1 year it will double or more. So we may assume that it would be difficult to cope with such number of tokens, and some of them probably some mechanism will be included as a smart contracts when we have a cooperation. Yes. So
I will start a company. When I'm the owner of the user, I collect the money, and I pay you as providers of the service, right? So then I'm aggregating everything and I make life easy for the user.
Yeah, you can be like an exchange.
Like an exchange, right? So
there's some technology like, for example, Shapeshift. It's basically an exchange, but their good idea is that they make it easy. They kind of integrate it in the wallet. And yesterday, when I had to send Bitcoin to somebody and I only had Ether, I just pressed a couple of buttons in my wallet. I didn't go to the exchange and enter an order in the order book. I just said, like, get it done.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how it should work.
So this is something which still needs to be solved, to be honest, right?
And the whole ecosystem kind of depends on that. So I don't think that's something that Streamr or Golem should or even can solve. It's like an emerging problem, and I think it will be solved as soon as it becomes a problem. Currently, it's probably not a problem yet because not many projects are collaborating on this level yet.
And I think this problem is more general. We cannot imagine the ideal function where everything will be done. For example, when we consider our collaboration, that we can develop a token which will be suitable for all cases. Rather, we can imagine that this function will be dependent on the case, because we can consider analysis of different kinds. So
I'm sure that this problem will be solved in the near future, right? Because it's an urgent problem. But looking forward to the future, let's say for the next half year, a year. But sorry, you want?
Yes, I would like to add something to this collaboration, because Henri mentioned here about these abstract layers, and it provides the information how our groups are complementary. But also, I think we should mention about that there are overlaps, that we find out that there are many things we have to work together, and in common, these things are the same things. For example, verification stuff or security.
P2P network.
Yes, peer-to-peer network.
Validation of results. How to distribute responsibilities. At the moment, you distribute tasks to nodes in the network. We distribute responsibilities about a certain partition of the data flowing through the Streamr network.
So it will be key, basically, that developers of both companies will more intensely work together to make a seamless integration of let's say.
Well, that and also solve the kind of research-oriented problems out there. We could maybe even have like a joint research task force that tries to solve these problems. They might be, the solutions might need to be tuned for the needs of each, but I think the fundamentals are pretty similar.
So looking forward, right? If this is an engagement period to test each other, to see how it works in cooperating together, I mean, will there, after the engagement period, also a kind of marriage between the two companies? That would be a logical step when the engagement period is successful in the next few months.
At least we love the guys, so I think love is one of the cornerstones.
Exactly, exactly. And then it will be much more easy to, let's say, to integrate the backbone of your both solutions and to have a better service.
See. We're kind of working through a couple of ideas for proof of concept applications, not meant to be like products in the end, but rather kind of guide the development and see how we can put these technologies together. For example, there's the favorite of Grzegorz is this decentralized brain idea, which means that we could have a massive spiking neural network running on thousands of machines in the world, and the kind of neurons would be in the computation would be done in the Golem container, and the connections between the neurons would happen on the Streamr network. And
this is something
we
about...
we might call it Skynet.
Because spiky neural networks is a type of neural networks, very new type, and very close to the human brain.
Okay.
Until we understood our brain, but
that should take a lot of computing power, right, to simulate that. So I think we come to a close of the interview.
Yeah. So maybe if marriage between Golem and Streamr happens, then those proof of concept applications will be our children.
Exactly.
Yes,
and they will be born more quickly than when it's only an engagement, right? because then you work together more closely. Are there any final remarks on your side which you would like to announce, or looking at the future, your plans, the biggest milestones in the next year or so?
Well, we just announced that there will be a token sale for the Streamr token, the data coin, which will start with a pre-sale on 12th of September.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Okay. I will watch the news and look into the solution. The solution is solid. The future is bright. So let's hope it will be a good crowd sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both projects are working on uncharted territory, so it's at least it's hard, but it's very exciting to be going.
Thanks for the interview,
Thank
Henri.
you.
Thanks, Grzegorz. Thanks for the interview, and good luck also with the demonstration later this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.